Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the live stream today. I wanted to quickly go over a question that I got from a user on the website. And he's basically asking me how I kind of keep my energy high for, my work schedule, as well as recording some of these videos. And, also kind of working on contracting and consulting jobs at the same time. So it's been quite a bit of a struggle, and juggling multiple things is not always all that fun. And I know a lot of you guys are also very, very busy. So I would also like to kind of get your guys' input as to how you guys stay motivated, inspired, and also energized to the point where you can actually keep on working. Now, my schedule is very, very crazy because I have so many things to do, and I know you guys have a lot of things to do as well. So I wanted to share some of my thoughts on how I stay motivated and how I stay on task. And staying on task is a huge, huge thing for me, especially getting productivity out of your day. So I just wanted to go over some of that, and I would like to kind of see what your guys' thoughts are. So coffee is one thing that I try not to drink a whole lot of, but every now and then I do take a couple of espresso shots. And let's see, I would like to post my stream on Twitter for a few seconds here first. Going live with my thoughts on keeping energy high here. And let me just post that in the Twitter page, and here we go. So it's good to see all of you guys here today. And let me quickly answer this question from Nick. And here is his question, which I will show you guys right here. So let me just block out the chat for just a few minutes and we should be fine. So let's see. I've done a bit of everything when it comes to coding. The problem I have is staying on task. Do you have any pointers? Yeah, that's kind of the topic of the day that I wanted to talk about just for a couple of minutes, and then I'll make today's live stream shorter than it normally is. I don't really want to go over half an hour today, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see if a lot of people are in the chat. So Nick asked me a question, which is on the bottom portion of the image here. And he says that sorry for an off-topic question, but so the question is at the bottom. How do you keep yourself focused after hours of coding? And I know a lot of you guys code for many, many hours as well. And he says that I remember you said you are from Taiwan, so maybe you brew any tea or something. And so every day I drink almost a bag or two worth of tea. And what I normally do is I have a teapot, and then I just grab a bag of tea and put it in the little strainer of tea. And then I have a lot of hot water, which I just keep on drinking tea until I'm done for the day. So that's kind of my little trick for keeping myself hydrated and also energized. The tea that I drink is kind of caffeinated, so that keeps me awake. So he says that I used to brew Chinese tea the right way, but never found a good and not super expensive online tea store. Yeah, I think because everyone has got or kind of discovered tea in the past couple of years, it seems like the price of tea has also skyrocketed, unfortunately. And then he says then he switched over to pour over V60 using coffee from Intelligentsia. I don't exactly recognize that brand, but he says that he strongly advises it, and they are also located in San Francisco. So I'll have to go check out this Intelligentsia store. Sounds very interesting. And he says that I'd like to hear any comments on that because I really do experience focus problems after 3 to 4 hours of coding. So if you are able to get 4 hours of coding done, I wouldn't call that focus problems at all. If you are experiencing focusing problems within an hour or maybe half an hour, then that might be a little bit of a problem. If you're able to get something consistently done and be productive for the span of 3 to 4 hours, I think you're just fine. Right. So the question, or the way I kind of answer this question, is up here, this top portion. Let me get a drink of water first. So this is actually the tea. And drinking tea, I find, is kind of the best compromise in terms of water and coffee. I can't exactly drink too much coffee because it does make me go to the bathroom way too many times. And then drinking water just doesn't have a lot of taste, so that's something that I don't actually like to drink. So the way I answer this question is I often do lose focus after recording and editing all these videos for the website and also this YouTube channel. As you guys can imagine, recording videos actually takes quite a bit of time. The recording process usually takes me about an hour, and then editing the video takes another half hour to an hour, uploading and then thumbnailing, and then writing the descriptions. It takes maybe 3 hours, I would say, on a good day. And so the thing that helps me the most is that if I commit to a regular routine, that really sets my entire day on a schedule that I can just start getting tasks done one at a time. So that helps me out a lot. If I go through my day without knowing exactly what I need to do for the day, I end up just, watching YouTube videos for the whole day, which does happen from time to time. So for example, I wake up at 9 a.m. and then I already know what to record because the previous day I actually prepare a lot of material. And then when I record a video, edit, upload, and go for lunch, that's my morning. That's pretty much how my morning works. And then I come back, then I prepare some more material, record, edit, and finish another video, upload it, and store it in the cloud somewhere. Then I take a small break and I head for dinner, and then I come back and prepare some more lectures for the next morning. And that's how my day looks like. If I'm working on a client or consulting project, then my day looks completely different, where all my time is dedicated to coding, roughly 8 to 10 hours of that day. So I think the recording schedule is something that I've gotten used to over the past year. When I'm programming, I actually can be productive for like 6 to 8 hours. And the reason why I can be more productive during programming is because programming is kind of easy for me. And when I say easy, I mean I know exactly the steps I need to take. For example, Google searching, Stack Overflow, typing some code out in the Xcode editor, running it, testing it on your iPhone and the simulator. And that's pretty easy. It's extremely straightforward is what I would call it. So because the task of like testing out code is so straightforward, I just find that to be something that I've gotten used to over the last 10 years. Okay. And then I kind of go on to talk about how I prepare courses for the website and the brand of tea that I drink, which is this brand called Bigelow Tea. And it's just a brand that you can find in San Francisco in the Bay Area. So that's, so I guess in a nutshell, the way I find myself staying energized is to just make sure I have enough liquids, and also make sure that I have a routine, a schedule set up. So the big thing about the schedule is that once you know that you have 4 to 5 things to do during the day, you just simply go about doing it. And that's the secret. The biggest problem is that when you find yourself having your free time, you don't know what to do with it. Then you start to kind of think about things that you shouldn't be thinking of. So that's kind of my 2 cents for today. And I think a lot of you guys probably do a couple of things to stay focused. And one of them is, I think, exercising helps me a lot. And also drinking coffee. So that's kind of my big thing. Okay. So let's see. What exactly? Plank while you code. That's the key. That sounds kind of interesting. Maybe I'll give that a try. Although you don't have the hands, or unless you're one hand planking, then maybe you can get some work done. Yeah, so John Cummings says, keep your eye on the goal. So that's an interesting way of staying on task. And then keep it simple, not simpler. Yeah. So continuing to code after a few hours is the easy part. Sitting down to code in the first place is the hard part. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Sometimes I just find myself not wanting to come to the desk and start coding. But the moment I open up the Xcode editor or the Notepad editor and start typing out the first 2 lines of code, then I can finally sit down, calm down, and then just code out new features. So Johnny Cumming also says, set expectations and try to stick to them. Yeah. Wow, a lot of new faces. Afrin, I don't think I've seen you before. Musin, Ulas, Marco, Remy, Abdul, Shahswat, Visionary. I've seen you around quite a few times. TB, Noctai, hey, welcome back. Johan, welcome back again. Alejandro, Abdul, hey Peter, nice to see you again. Ulas, Thanyani, Ryan with the suggestion of coffee. I drink a lot of Starbucks espresso cans, and I dilute it with a lot of water at the same time. So that's one way I wake up to the morning with something that I look forward to. What do you recommend for front-end development? So I use React.js, so I obviously will recommend that. Angular 4, I thought the current version of Angular was Angular 2. Maybe I've been out of the game for too long. Well, I love you too, AMR. Atia. Kanban, limit work in progress. Limit work in progress. Limit work in progress. That's a very good suggestion. Over the years, I've found that if I just have 1 or 2 things to do, I can get those 1 or 2 things done really, really quickly. If I have 10 things on my plate at the same time, I pretty much get none of those things done. So that is the problem. Some backend stuff would be amazing. Oh, Mohammed, my little daughters are my real strengths and motivation. That's good. You know, I think one day when I do have kids, I think I'll be so tired I won't be able to code or record videos anymore. So that's the fortunate side of things. I don't have too many commitments to take me away from what I want to do here. Yeah. So, hello from Israel. Hello, Yolev. Make all work visible. That helps a lot too. Look for waste and reduce it. That's a good one. Why don't you date your girlfriend to boost your energy? You know, some would say that dating a girlfriend would actually take away energy instead of gaining any energy. You know, because sometimes the girlfriend does drain you, unfortunately. So Alexander Key, hey Alex. Not energized, I struggle with it, and I usually spend hours sitting around doing nothing since I lack the energy and motivation. So that's a whole different topic entirely. Motivation is different compared to staying energized. Motivation is something that you can't really control. The thing about motivation is that there's one easy way to fix it if you lack motivation. It's just to sit down, open up the thing that you need to do, and then just start doing it for 5 minutes. Do that, and then you'll find yourself completing the task for the next hour or 2. That's the secret to lack of motivation. And it works most of the time. Set expectations and try to stick with them. Yep. So, let's see. Keep your eye on the goal. Okay. Let's see. Wow, we have someone here that's I guess irritating everyone or trolling everyone. Books. Let's see. The rest of the world is too sensitive. Okay. All right. Starbucks mochas are the bomb. Yeah. I think coffee, unfortunately, is something that we've gotten quite addicted to, and I don't even really know why. Yeah, almost at 50K. That's awesome. How many of you guys have suggestions for what I should do once the channel reaches 50,000 subscribers? I didn't really think that it would get to this point during April of this year, but it's definitely a welcome surprise for me. Yeah, I think we're currently at 48,000, and not even like that number doesn't even really matter so much. The thing that really matters is that a lot of you guys are still tuning in to watch the new videos that I post, and I don't really care about the subscription count. It's just some vague number that describes how maybe you appeared on someone's home feed and they subscribed to you. So what matters more is how many people are still currently watching the videos. And yeah, someday we'll hit 100K, and if the channel is still interesting, then that'll be good. Could you give some suggestions on learning Java? Are there tutorials out there like yours? Well, Java, Swift, JavaScript, PHP. What else is out there? All these languages, over the past 10 years of just coding all the time, I found that they're all pretty much the same thing. You have to know how to create a variable for a string, create some functions, some classes, some methods on these classes, and then that's pretty much 95% of it. And then you have some for loops and while loops. And what else is there? Making some URL calls and integrating JSON. Yeah, I think you can learn all that in like 3 weeks, and then you're pretty much set. The language that you have to actually write in, the syntax, is just a minor detail in the whole process of programming. And the good thing is that Google will help you sort out the syntax in like 5 seconds. The moment you just search for it, it just comes up. Like I remember back then when I had to learn how to use XML. This was when I was like 17, 18 years old, and I had no idea what XML was, right? And the way XML is described is kind of strange. You have to have some kind of XML parser, XPath tool thing. And even to this day, XML parsing libraries are kind of difficult to use. So I remember back then I didn't know how to use like very simple libraries either. And unfortunately, back then for me, the internet wasn't as readily accessible for information. So people that were trying to program back then, it wasn't as easy. There weren't videos. There weren't a lot of blog posts describing the particular problem that you were running into. So it's amazing how much information is available online these days. Okay, so how could you recommend, or hello, could you recommend for us some good book for Swift? Thanks. I think sometimes reading English is difficult for me. So recommending good books, I think Ray Wenderlich's books are what people recommend to me the most when they're asking me about books. So I'm also part of the Ray Wenderlich team. I haven't written any books yet, but they spend a lot of time editing the books, writing the software that produces the books, and then updating the books whenever a new version of Swift comes out. So that's kind of why I recommend their books. Personally, I don't think I've even opened one of these books before. but the students that I had in boot camp highly recommended it. So that's what I would say. Premium matcha is great for those who can't deal with coffee. Yeah, I'll have to try out matcha tea. I drink a lot of pearl tea, which is a Asian drink. Yeah, experiment, validate, and learn. Yeah, you just gotta try multiple things and see what works and what doesn't. Whenever you find that you're wasting your time doing something random, just stop doing it as soon as you find out, right? RX said, yeah. How do I organize my time when you work from home? What is a typical day? Many thanks for great videos. So my typical day, I think I just mentioned this earlier. It's quite different compared to what my full-time job regular days were. And the biggest benefit of working from home, I think, is that I don't have to commute to work anymore. The commute, I think when I was working in San Francisco, it took me about 45 minutes. And I kind of want to shoot what a regular commute looks like in the San Francisco area, so that those of you guys that aren't living here probably don't have a good idea as to what the commute looks like. So driving into the city, when we say driving into the city, we mean driving into San Francisco. That commute probably takes 45 minutes a day if you live close. If you live close, it's 45 minutes. If you're about 20, 30 miles away from San Francisco, it's going to take you an hour. So that's how long it takes to just get your butt into the office and sit down. And by the time you get to the office, you're like already tired from the commute. And then you have to kind of like unwind for like an hour, get a coffee. And before you know it, it's like 11:30 to 12 o'clock already. So that's what full-time employment looked like for a lot of us in San Francisco. So now I don't have to deal with commute, but I do end up working more hours because I'm working for myself now. So, yeah. Do you think learning how to code from website like Free Code Camp will land me a job in the future? So the thing about free coding websites is that they're really good. If you can get if you can find a website that teaches you some topic for an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours, then the free website is pretty darn good. It's hard to even like go to the website and look at it for more than 10 minutes, right? So if you can find a website that's able to handhold you into the process of developing programs better, just use whatever you think is good. I try not to recommend anything to anyone because the thing about recommendations is that it's heavily biased towards the person that's recommending it. And I have a kind of a unique learning style where I'll just learn something by doing it for like half an hour and then I'll kind of get it and then I move on. And I think a lot of people learn like that too. And then a lot of people just have to read for like a really long time. And I hate reading, so I can't learn that way. Yeah. Get rid of this guy here. Okay. Wow, we have 118 people watching right now. What are you guys going to do for the rest of the day today? I'm kind of curious because I am debating on a couple of things. I think there's a basketball game on, I think maybe it's playing right now. But I'm a big basketball fan, so I want to catch that game. I think it's about to be over, unfortunately. But yeah, any of you guys want to see some statistics for the channel? I guess one other question I kind of wanted to talk about today was the demographic for the channel. So I'm going to pull up the demographic analytics here, and hopefully there won't be too much information that I don't want to share. So let's see, I think this guy, maybe this guy. All right, so analytics. I think this is what I want to share here. Okay, so let's see. Okay. Anyone that is really into numbers should be interested in seeing what this chart kind of tells you. So maybe I'll stop blocking my face here. Okay. And if you look at the demographics for this channel, we're currently at 10 million minutes. And if you just browse over this, it says that overall, this channel has gotten 20 years of watch time. So I guess what that translates into is I've been living on your guys' screen out there for 20 years. And the way I like to think about it is that I've somehow managed to extend my life on Earth for 20 years. That's one way to think about it. But anyhow, the way that the demographics work is that we have a range for all of the students that kind of watch the channel, right? And if you look at it, the breakdown pretty much separates it into these brackets of 35 or 25 to 34 years old is the largest range for the people that watch my videos. And unfortunately, that range, or pretty much all the brackets, have about 4 to 5% of female viewers, right? So like that number isn't all that great. It'll be nice if there were more women in tech, and all of the companies that I've worked for that were software companies, very, very few women. So that kind of sucks. I think getting more women in the companies that we work for is a really, really good idea. Yeah. Okay. Gym and video games, give a friend a mock interview, and that's the rest of my day. I'm trying to poach him. Yeah. So what did I want to say? Yeah, the demographics work like how you would expect it. 18 to 24 and 25 to 34 years old. That's the largest demographic for me. And, you know, students that are graduating from college or students that are still in college, that's typically the people that watch this channel. So that's kind of demographic. And I guess that's all I'm going to say about that. So those of you guys are curious about money and views and how much money you get per view, you pretty much get like $1.50 for each 1,000 view. So if you look at the chart, you know, it says that I have 2 million views. You can think of that as, I don't know, $30,000 or something. So that's roughly how much the YouTube channel earns, which over the past year, earning that for like a year is not all that great. So that's why you have to work on multiple revenue streams. So consulting, contracting, the YouTube channel, the website, and in the future, I think I'll have some sponsorships on the channel to get things going. Yeah. So, yep. Okay. So Studio C Fan Forever says that I feel like tech is seen as a guy thing, and it's not really socially acceptable or really portrayed in media for women to be like that. So I agree. Yeah, I do agree that, and like, you have to go to Israel, the startup nation. Yeah. Yeah. At the moment, I'm looking at what apps won the Apple Design Award. I play League of Legends. You know, I stopped playing video games like 10 years ago. And every time I try to play a video game now, just sit down and play like some kind of World of Warcraft, let's say. I can't play that game for more than like 15 minutes anymore. The more I sit down and watch my experience bar just go up one chunk at a time, I just lose patience and I quit the game and do something else. Yeah. What will you get a job in is having... What will get you a job is having a portfolio of projects. Having stuff on GitHub for self-taught or bootcamp grads is necessary. Yep. Like if you want a job as a software developer, you have to kind of think from the employer's point of view, right? If you're trying to hire someone that can write code, if you can demonstrate that you can write code, then that's kind of what you need to be an expert at. And the best way to demonstrate that you know how to write code is to have a couple of really good projects under your belt. And that's kind of why we always just constantly hammer the idea of having a good portfolio, making sure your GitHub projects are clean, because employers or senior engineers will look into some of the files that you have on GitHub. And for example, you have like really messy looking code, comments everywhere, your code doesn't make any sense. That's going to all factor into the interview process. Yeah, but applying to jobs can be grueling and tedious. Yeah, I do agree. I think I've had a success rate about 15 to 20% on job applications. So I think, perhaps 1 out of 5 or 1 out of 6 interviews that I go on, I'll get the interview or I'll get the job offer, which is pretty decent. And then you also have to know that you need to go on a lot of interviews before you get a job. That's the biggest thing about, I guess, some people. They don't want to go through that process because for some reason, people think that jobs are just going to land on their front doorsteps without giving in any effort. I think the Roy Bush tee in my big Darth Vader cup, so that the forge will be with me. I like that. So Ben Clary says, oh yeah, a new mic. What mic is it? So some of you guys might have noticed the sound is a little bit different. This is a Rode NT1 microphone, and I've been able to kind of pipe the audio through a separate channel, and the channel has some bit of processing on it, so it sounds different. I'm not exactly sure how it sounds like yet, because I'm not sure what the YouTube encoding is going to do to the audio, but hopefully it sounds better than it did last time with, I think, all of the exciting troubles that I went through to get the audio correct. So I must say running even just 30 minutes every day boosts my energy. It's counterintuitive, but you are less tired when you make sport. So I also run for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. I do roughly 2 miles every other day, and that helps me out a lot. I find that there's, I don't know, maybe a pocket of negative energy that builds up in all of us, and that negative energy needs to be expelled somehow. I think exercising does a good job at like just forcing that energy out of you. And I also play basketball on Sundays, and that does a good amount of exercise for me. Will you quit your job to do online course YouTube stuff full time? So I'm pretty much doing the online courses and YouTube full time, and I think it's going. It's going. I believe getting 50,000 subscribers is a pretty good milestone, I would say. I think it's a good metric for how I'm trying to gauge what I want to do with this channel. And so far, it's been good. Yeah. Yeah, so I found Udemy to be a good resource. And Brian, if you like to learn languages, if you pay for it, then it gives you more motivation. Yeah. When you pay for something, you put down, your money on your commitment level. So once you're committed, I think it helps a lot. Yeah. So here's another interesting question. Brian, how much planning do you do for your apps, and what tools do you use during this process? So I plan for about a week to 2 weeks, depending on how complicated the application is. And planning it involves building out the clone, and then also figuring out how to teach you guys how the app works. Okay, so I think I might check out in about 5 minutes because I'm going to run out of energy if I talk for too long. So the next 5 minutes, if any of you guys have any pressing questions, please let me know through the live chat here. Let's see, but we should not compare Xcode and Visual Studio. Yeah. Okay, Studio C fan forever. I just want to say that your channel is really great. You're the one guy on YouTube that I'm confident actually knows what he's doing and has good structured and experience making apps. So that's the other thing. I've built apps before, which makes it easier to teach you guys some of the things that are involved in application building, and actually having an app on the App Store that has sold millions of dollars worth of revenue or worth of products, that helps as well. Yeah. Question: How would you fix Facebook's declining popularity? It's slowly dying and turning into MySpace. The thing about Facebook is that it's on all of our phones. And unfortunately, over the last year, I've opened it less and less and less. And the things that appear in my home feed for Facebook have gotten more and more terrible. It's like just pretty much garbage now. So I don't know. I think because we have so many other applications such as, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube is just huge right now, right? And Facebook, there's nothing Facebook can do to compete against what YouTube is doing. Thoughts on Brian Advent? I find he really goes around the world when explaining and does it the most complicated way possible. So I've watched the Brian Advent channel a couple of times. I think, so what I want to say here, I think he has a decent channel. I think it's pretty decent. I think it's pretty good. Some of you guys don't know how difficult it is to record these videos. So I think he does a good job. I think the problem with YouTube and iOS development is that it's just extremely difficult. And what makes it really, really hard is that if you try to record the storyboard and do something else with your app, not on the screen at the same time, it's really easy to lose your viewers that way. So that's kind of why this format where you have the simulator here, Xcode here, you have my little face on the bottom right corner, that seems to be effective. Yeah. I just have Facebook Messenger. It makes me more productive. So I've gone ahead and I've unsubscribed from all of my friends' posts in Facebook. So every time I open up my Facebook app, there's nothing on there. And that increases my productivity because I don't waste time digging through Facebook to see what's going on. Charles Xavier, how do you know? I've received an offer from Berkeley. Oh, congratulations. But I'll be attending Cambridge. That's good. Those are two really good schools, right? Berkeley, that's what they call alma mater. And Berkeley is I don't know, Berkeley is turning into a strange place nowadays. I'm kind of scared to go back to Berkeley considering all the news about the free speech or anti-free speech rallies. Some of the videos that I've seen. Whoa, pretty scary stuff. Michael to found this place from your salary history breakdown. Yeah. I don't use Facebook anymore. Spend less than 30 minutes a week on it. Yep. I spend my time on Facebook for the Let's Build That App Facebook group. And aside from that, I don't use Facebook all that much. Why do I skip questions? There's just too much going on the live stream that I can't keep up with it. Yeah. Okay, so it seems like we still have 100 of you guys in the live stream, which is good. I'm really glad to see everyone joining and listening to what I have to say. Last question here, maybe your next premium course after the Instagram app. So what kind of course do you guys want to watch me build and learn from that entire process? I'm thinking about a couple of different ideas right now. I really want to take care of the Maps SDK and also the audio AV player SDKs. And then there was another one that I was thinking about, and it's the Tinder swipey app thing. And so if I can take care of those three things in the next couple of months, then I'll be complete. I'll be finished with all I really want to do for this entire year. So that's what my schedule looks like. And I know a lot of you guys want to watch Snapchat. So what is the most important thing about Snapchat? I don't use Snapchat all that much. And I don't exactly know why people want to see Snapchat all that much. Is it the swipey navigation that people are interested in? I don't really know. Perhaps you guys can tell me. And also I want to do some Swift server-side tutorials. Looking into the couple of Swift frameworks that I've seen over the past couple of days, I'll probably settle on Vapor or Katura, one of those. Vapor looks like the most interesting one for me right now. Oh, it's the filters. Yeah, Spotify and Tinder would be perfect. So some of you guys know I have a version of Spotify on my simulator already. Yeah. So there's the fact that pictures disappear and can't be accessed again after they are viewed, and it notifies you when they take a screenshot. No. Oh, I guess the photos disappearing is another big thing. Yeah. Yep. So Bobby Japp, Snap offered me an interview, but I just changed jobs. Can't change again that soon. Well, that's good. Yeah. I'm curious, like, how long have you stayed at your previous jobs? The longest I've ever stayed at an iOS job was for like 2 years. And even 2 years, I feel like is a really, really long time in the world of software. And Bobby Japp, I remember you talked about perhaps collaborating on unit testing and stuff like that. And maybe I'll go down there in South Bay and I'll find you for like half an hour or an hour during a weekend, and we can maybe talk about what you're interested in collaborating about. So I think the appeal of Snapchat is that they realize that your posts are not meant to last forever. It's good to have a timer for them. Yeah. There's definitely something about objects disappearing that makes the application more interesting, and it feels like it's more engaging. Is it an advantage knowing both Android and iOS? Yeah. So there's obviously an advantage to knowing more things. The question is, would you hire an iOS engineer that has been programming for iOS, let's say 5 years, or would you hire someone that has programmed iOS for 3 years and Android for 2 years? So that's the question. I think I would take the guy with 3 years and 3 years iOS and 2 years Android. And a lot of reasons, but that's kind of just my opinion. Not sure if I really want to elaborate on that one. Okay, I think the appeal is, yep. Like if I ask what phone I should buy or say there's congestion and an accident on a certain road, that post should disappear after that day. Yeah, I think for the most part, Facebook has kind of followed that approach where they delete, or not, they don't delete, but there's just so many new things on your Facebook home feed anyways that it seems like it's always updating with new items. Okay, stayed at my last job for 4 years. Wow, that is a long time. I've never stayed at a job for more than 3 years, I don't think. The longest one was 3.5. Question from the Keggy. What do you use to edit your videos? What's your favorite free editing suite? So I pay the Adobe Cloud licensing fee. That gives me access to 3 things that I use: Premiere, Adobe Audition, sometimes After Effects, and then Photoshop. So like 3 things and sometimes After Effects. And I've noticed that not a lot of people are really interested in editing videos. So that's the thing that I have going for me. I like editing videos, and I also like programming, and I like messing with these little toys such as mics, mixers, video equipment, cameras, and then being able to program on top of all that gives me a little bit of an edge over people that are trying to get into the YouTube space. Like, I was watching this guy, I guess I won't name what his name is, but he has a channel on YouTube, right? And this guy has like a ton of subscribers, but I can tell that he obviously doesn't actually enjoy making videos. And the reason why I can tell that this person doesn't like producing videos is because he actually doesn't edit his videos himself. So whenever someone's not editing their own videos, there's 2 things that I can take away from that. First of all, they don't like watching themselves, because a lot of people don't like editing because they have to constantly watch all of the mistakes that they make and just see all the imperfections of a recording. So if you're not able to like just watch yourself and improve upon your own like speaking habits and fixing your videos to make them more interesting, then you're not really taking video making all that seriously. So there's this guy that he doesn't like editing his own videos. So that's something that's I think it's fun, watching yourself editing videos, going back a year and watching the style that you had a year ago, and then see how you've evolved and how your equipment, the lighting, and all this has changed. I think it's a fun process, and it's also just a way to kind of catalog your life online. You'll come back to YouTube, whether or not it's still here in 20 years, and you can say, yeah, that was me like 20 years ago. I did videos for a living. Interesting stuff. Wow, what just happened there? Okay, add me on the Facebook group, please. So the Facebook group is here for anyone that's interested in joining. How much do I want to plug myself? I guess I'll just plug the Facebook group today. There's a lot of people that are trying to join this group, and so sometimes I just don't have the 11 people that want to join this group. Then we currently have 14. Wow. Yeah. So I'll approve of all of the new folks for the group today. So the good thing about the group is that we have a couple of interesting topics that we kind of talk about, such as what the next application series should be on, and then whether or not I should do Android, and also some questions about, Firebase, how to set it up properly. Yeah. So I've only been at my new job a month. Well, that's good. I guess who's Gabe here? Put user in timeout. What does that do? Okay. All right. Okay. You should make a single video that gives an overall view of how to stop using storyboard, because that's one of the pros to watching your videos, but I still find it hard to watch. Yeah. Yep. So that's a good question. To me, storyboard and coding is pretty much the same thing nowadays. And I find myself using code a lot because it's just faster for me. Like I really hate clicking. I think I've told you guys this before, but clicking on a thing that's like this small on your screen, toggling it down, clicking some other menu. Programmers like to just bang on the keyboard and get things done. So the faster you get to that level, the easier it will become. What kind of sponsorship are you looking to get on your channel? Will you become a marketing channel to promote new tech gear? So the last video that I did on like the mouse and the keyboard, so even doing this, just putting the keyboard onto the video screen, I don't actually enjoy that all that much. And all those tech review channels, they do a really good job of capturing B-roll is what you call it. And they demonstrate exactly how this product looks like from all angles, and then they do these sliding shots, right? I don't really find all that interesting to me because it's actually very time consuming. And as a programmer, I don't like doing things that are super time consuming. I like to just write some kind of code and have the computer do it for me. So manual work is a bit of a challenge for me still. And whether or not this is going to become a marketing channel, I don't think it will ever become that, because I don't need the marketing revenue. And the only thing that I will say is that I will continue to put videos up regarding the equipment that I use, because a lot of you guys are also interested in how like YouTube works in general, right? Like what kind of camera gear you need to buy, what kind of audio equipment that you need to get really good sound. So that's something that I will still put out there. And whether or not I link it to some kind of affiliate Amazon link, I don't really know, and I don't really care either. But I just want to get information out there, because I actually watch a lot of videos on people that review gear. And if those videos weren't available for me to watch on YouTube, I wouldn't be able to make these videos. So I want to keep that going, making sure that the next person, the next brilliant YouTube iOS developer talent that comes on YouTube, I want to make sure they're able to come on the channel or come on the website and produce like amazing content. Yeah. So do you plan on, I guess, creating a startup of my own? So this channel is kind of my project, my little baby for now. And I want to see where I can take this channel. It's obviously gaining some traction over the last year. And I still remember the days when each video only got like 50 to 100 views, right? That wasn't that long ago. I only started uploading more videos last May. And that was when I was actually still teaching at a boot camp in San Francisco. So I was doing all this work to kind of gain traction, gain some momentum for the channel. And it's getting to a point where things are starting to materialize, and we see so many people joining and watching the videos that it's like enough motivation for me to keep going on the channel. Do you think we need to learn React and programming for Swift? I don't think you do, But if you do understand reactive programming, you're going to become a better programmer overall. So that's like any other skill in life. Let's say you are becoming a chef, right? Do you need to learn how to make Italian cuisine, Chinese cuisine, Japanese cuisine? You don't need to, but if you knew how to do it, it would make you a better chef at just any particular cuisine itself. Yeah, which one would you hire? The one who knows both Android and iOS, or the backend iOS? So I would go ahead and hire the backend iOS guy. Android and iOS, all these skills, they overlap too much. The backend side of things, it's like two circles. I guess we'll do it like this. iOS and Android, there's like a huge overlap. And then iOS and backend is kind of like this. So a different skill set. And I find that because I know how to work backend, that sounds like a strange way of saying that. Just knowing how to develop server logic and interacting with a database, that's something that, I can tell an employer like, oh, I can build that out for you. You don't need to hire a backend guy. They're like, oh, really? Okay. When can you start is what they will ask me. A bit of an exaggeration. You can probably do a little giveaway of some development tech, or maybe even better, you can give a free course, some course on reaching 50K. So I do want to do a free course giveaway sometime soon. And I think the 50K mark might be a good chance, a good opportunity for people to kind of include themselves in the free course giveaway. The only thing about the free course giveaway is that there are a lot of people that ask me for a discounts on the course, and people that really just don't have the money to purchase the course, right? I understand that there are people that don't have the financial means to purchase this stuff. And I'm trying to come up with a discount feature for the website. It's not all that hard to build. I just have to go out and build it. And at the same time, I want to make sure the people that really don't have the financial means to purchase this stuff have the opportunity to include themselves in the giveaway. But as of right now, I haven't given away anything because the thing about giving something away for free is that, first of all, they don't appreciate the thing as much, right? Because you're just getting it for free. Why would you appreciate it? It costs you nothing. Right? There was no sacrifice. So the other thing is that when you start giving away something for free, what was I going to say? Well, they're going to start asking you questions, and I don't know. The thing about free is that you actually don't incentivize them to actually be any harder working. So you just imagine, right? It's something that you wanted when you were small, when you were young. Like a toy, right? It cost $10, but you didn't have $10, so you couldn't buy it. So that incentivizes you to actually maybe get a job later in the future because you want to buy things that cost $10, $20. If you don't have that type of like reward system where you are motivated to work to earn something, then you don't have that work ethic. So I don't want to give away things for free because sometimes that does enable people to just not work hard. So a roundabout way of saying I'm probably not going to do free stuff for a lot of people that are asking for it. Could you teach us how to create an app with encrypted messages like Telegram or WhatsApp? So encryption is always an interesting topic, and how to watching yourself on camera helps you grow as a public speaker. It is a crucial step. I do agree. Yeah. I've been thinking about this a lot, and I feel like every teacher out there that is working at a university should have a mandatory requirement to actually record themselves for 50 to 100 videos where they're actually lecturing in front of a camera. That's going to improve their speaking abilities just so much and make themselves a much more effective communicator. I remember so many of my college professors just being so bad at giving out instruction. that there's actually some kind of a website that ranks these teachers on how bad they are, and some of those teachers that I had in the past, they just consistently ranked up as the worst instructor in the college. And then they don't actually seek out any way to improve themselves. So yeah. Where can I go after I finished learning Java? I am not sure what to make. Well, because Android is built on Java, you'll find yourself having a lot of potential opportunities to work at a full-time job using Java. Thoughts on Soylent? I've never tried Soylent. I want to work from home. It takes me 4 to 5 hours every day for commuting to work. That's more than, I don't know, more than the amount of hours in a day. Is 4.5 hours? That seems like an exaggeration. So Viper, I don't really care for Viper. I'm really crap at math. Does that mean I should not pursue being a software developer, iOS developer? Well, you'll find that you don't really need a whole lot of math, or you don't need complicated math to be a programmer. So, and no one's really bad at math. Like, being bad at math I don't think is a real problem. The real problem is that people that have been teaching you math in your entire life, they've been just horrible at teaching you math. That's the issue. Right. So do I go to a fitness center? Not exactly. I go to a gym every Sunday, probably once. Yeah. Security is helpful. In the old day, I used storyboard. After a year, I realized storyboard sometimes makes me desperate for animating or for animation, subview, etc. Then I have guts to try manual coding. The result, it's like a dream come true. Yeah. So if you're new to this, I guess, iOS development, and you're trying to build everything through the storyboard, right? Everything feels kind of stiff, where you have your table view here, you have your cells here, you click on here, it goes to here, and then everything is like just in a box, right? If you want to think outside of the box, you have to get yourself out of the storyboard, and then you'll be really, really, you'll be more comfortable in making applications that feel like an application that is live. How and why you started to code for iOS? Can you make app for macOS too? So I've written my own macOS apps to monitor, sales and all that stuff. So it's not all that different compared to an iOS application. It's pretty much the same thing. Storyboards are fast to create, but very hard to maintain. Yeah, some of you guys might have seen that post in the Facebook group where this guy had, I don't know, like 50 view controllers in one storyboard. Oh man, definitely a scary storyboard to look at, and I would not wish that amount of pain on my worst enemy. C# versus Xcode for app development. I only know Xcode, so, well, I kind of know C#, but I wouldn't say that I'm an expert in it. Why is Instagram so popular? It's the same like Facebook. So Facebook is, I don't know, this monster application, which when it came out 15 years ago, 15? Yeah. It was one of a kind. And Instagram is popular because it's only focused on pictures, and we all like to look at pictures, right? Facebook is still very popular. It's not going anywhere. Soon, at least. Honestly, Adrian, when the first time watch our video, I don't care about the app you build, but I more care about your technique making UI without the storyboard. Yeah. Okay, if I make a startup of my own just after graduation, or should I first gain some experience in job? I think you will need some experience before you